Before we start the video, if you want to know anything about who Jimbo is and, what the allegations against him were, I'd recommend watching Nightmaerish's video on the situation, because it handles the topics well, and this video is not going to go over that entirely, as it is about one specific recent thing in this whole series of events. Now, on with the video. When you hear the sentence, "They could never make me hate you," who do you think this sentence would apply to in your life? A friend? A family member? A lover, even? That can make sense if that's what you first think of, since it's likely a person you trust and are close to. What about someone famous? What about someone who doesn't even know you? A complete stranger. That's a bit of a strange way for me to start this video, I know, but I promise the hypothetical makes sense with the context of what I'm gonna be talking about. Because, yet again, I'm talking about more art community drama. Although I don't think drama is the best way to put it, because there's not really any other words for it. This time, with the whole JimboJimmy's stuff going on, which if you're familiar with, then you know that the allegations towards him in the document were very heavy, grooming and pedophilia being like two of the things he was allegedly called out for. Now, as recently as around a week ago, Jimbo, the guy being called out for this disturbing behavior, has made a video both apologizing and debunking every claim made towards him in both an older document calling him out and the recent document. I'll only talk about the parts where he addressed the three most heavy stuff in my opinion, which is, the accusations of grooming, borderline pedophilic behavior, animal abuse. Because those are, honestly the most serious allegations against him, and it makes sense as to why. Now, I'm going to spare you from giving, the audio of the video, as the text-to-speech voice is very droning, and I feel like it's better if I just explain what he had said, rather than just show him say it exactly word for word. So if you want to watch the original video of his, you can go do that. Whatever. For the pedophilic behavior, his explanation/debunking was mainly him stating that he wasn't actually attracted to children. One of his messages was him displaying cuteness aggression, and how the whole rape face thing was a joke. A bad one and very poor taste, but still a joke, I guess. And how the doc apparently cut out any moments where he said he was joking, or said that he wasn't actually like that in the images. Now, I haven't been shown the uncropped images of those screenshots, so I have no idea if I can believe what he's saying for the whole "they removed context" part. But I do still think the explanation did explain a little bit, and obviously wasn't using the whole "it's a joke" thing as an excuse. But since there was a text-to-speech being used, and it's already kind of worded vaguely too, it was pretty hard to know that for some people, which I don't blame them for. For the grooming allegations, the main point was that he knew the person in 2023, and now they're around 13, 14, I don't know, but still, he said that the person didn't believe they were being groomed either, and how they didn't do anything sexual, except for when he basically got flashed on call, which he says he didn't expect nor didn't want, and left the call immediately when it happened. I'm still neutral on this because, again, we're only hearing his side of the story, and the person who was considered to be the victim of alleged grooming likely won't tell theirs for a while, since they themselves don't believe the whole grooming thing. And the cat abuse. Basically, he said he's never hit him that hard since, and that the cat is a lot happier and safe, along with like footage of his cat being happy and affectionate. Again, staying neutral because there's not much else known about this, and I'm not an Einstein in animal psychology, so I can't say much. Now, yeah, I guess in a sense it is somewhat debunked, but though it's pretty confusing, and I'm not a master analyzer, so I can't really just automatically know if he's lying about anything or not. And I still don't trust his word yet, even though he has stated he will get help, because I obviously don't know him personally, and the video still leaves questions unanswered for me. And the allegations were still like really heavy, and I do think what he said, even as jokes, were not okay, even if he wasn't excusing them. I mainly am just trying to stay cautious before I believe what he's saying and what he promises to do, because not everyone follows up on their word and basically anything could happen. So yeah, the video got a lot of views, and well, of course, as always, it was pretty divisive in the comment section, with some people criticizing things he said and others making jokes, because we really can't take anything online seriously anymore, can we? But there was an overwhelming amount of comments of people forgiving him all a little too quickly, to a point where the things they said were sounding a bit, what's the word? Right, parasocial. I don't think people should be immediately worshipping him this quickly simply because he said he's trying to get himself mental help for multiple reasons. So before we start getting sent death threats, let me explain. As I said earlier, in Jimbo's video, he said he was going to try and get his best to get mental help for his behaviors and actions, to try and improve for the better. I've seen some notable comments of people either saying he shouldn't have been forced to get help, or instead focusing on his art and characters and if he's gonna upload anytime soon. Along with that, I've also seen a lot of people asking to be his friend, saying they love him, calling him King Jimbo, saying things like, "I never switched up," and the sentence I mentioned at the beginning of this video, "They could never make me hate you." There were multiple comments of this variety, and I saw quite a good handful of them being people who had usernames or profile pictures themed after Jimbo. Very, very dedicated and loyal fans, as you might say. But I don't actually think this is a good thing. In fact, I'd say him allowing himself to have a fan base of this level of dedication and size might do a lot more harm than good, especially for him. Like I said earlier, there were a lot of people only bringing up things like, "Your art is amazing! I can finally have a profile picture of your character! I love your silly OCs! I can't wait for more animations! When are you gonna start posting again? You need to start posting again!" Now, notice how all of those examples were more focused on not him, the artist, but instead the art he was creating. This is a pretty big issue I've noticed in the art community. That issue being that people don't know how to see artists as anything but the art they make. Those comments had no, "Are you okay? I hope you take a break from the internet," or anything. They focused not on the artist, but the art. And that's also likely the reason why they cared so much when he made a debunking video. They wouldn't have cared if he bettered himself if they didn't like his art so much, but since their art just so happens to be art that they like and that they want more of, they want that artist to be innocent because it means they'll get more art, more eye candy, more entertainment. It's similar to the issue of people not being able to separate art and artist. But rather than associating the art with everything the artist has done, it's kind of like the reverse. Their mindset is essentially, I don't care what the artist does as long as they keep making art I like. Having a fan base with that many people who only see you as the art you make isn't a good thing, especially since, again, Jimbo is trying to get help to better himself. Having a fan base of people who only want you to make can be mentally exhausting and demanding. Not to mention people who constantly praise without criticisms can inflate your ego. It can make people who aren't as mentally well think that they can get away with more because people will still forgive them, that people will still love them, and that nothing anyone says will ever make them hate you. This can lead to repeat offenses happening. It can lead to more drama, and it can lead to more mental health issues and stress. But this kind of stuff likely wouldn't just hurt Jimbo in the long run either, because dedicated fans can't take criticisms of their favorite creators lightly. Now, this might not surprise you, but Jimbo's fanbase was already very toxic before these allegations. And it seems like these newer comments to his apology video are basically an omen of what's to come with his fanbase if it keeps going on. His fans are already very, very aggressive about him and their love for his works, and there have been incidents of harassment and toxicity from both his server and his fanbase as a whole. In fact, I'll probably get a whole slew of harassment from this video alone, which will very much prove my point that Jimbo having a fan base is a bad idea. Because he isn't the only one that's going to be hurt, because the worse harassment gets, the worse actions those harassing will commit. Harassment, if it especially gets bad, can lead to people sending things like death threats, gore, illegal material, viruses, IP grabbers, you know the gist. These things have happened before in fan bases. It's happened before to creators, to fans, to critics. And a fan base of this level of dedication and borderline parasocialism will most definitely lead to these issues arising. And it won't be pretty. In fact, it'll be extremely, sickeningly, horrifically ugly. So I've explained my main two reasons as to why this isn't a good idea, and why Jimbo's fanbase will likely make everything worse than it already was. So what solution do I actually propose? Well, first off, if Jimbo is going to keep posting, I'd recommend he explicitly, and I mean explicitly, state that he does not want any harassment or the worst of people who criticize him. And yes, that includes people who are rude about it, because insulting them isn't going to make them any more kinder about how they already negatively think about you. But if he doesn't want to, I'll say this right now. Jimbo, please, just take a break from the internet. Only post things if you explicitly need to address something. Don't accept any friend requests from people who know you from your YouTube channel. Just don't post. If worse becomes worse, you can private or enlist everything as a way to keep people from interacting with you for the most part. Just please take a break. That is all I have to say this video. I'm sorry if it's short. Thank you.